Hi, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Megan.
For years, we were stuck in a rut, always complaining that nothing ever changed for us.
And then we realized if we wanted to improve our lives, we had to put in the work.
Each week on this podcast, we'll get into an aspect of personal growth, relationships, or just life.
Through our own experiences and guest interviews, we hope to inspire you to make your own positive changes.
Welcome to the Fools in Love podcast. Hey y'all, Brandon here. Welcome back to another episode. If this is your first episode, welcome. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of our episodes. Typically, I'm here with my co-host Megan, but I am going to ride solo today because there's just been something that's been heavy on my heart lately, and I've just felt led to share this message with all of you. Now, I want to preface this by saying it may not be a popular topic, but I think if we're all being honest, it's something we all need to hear. We all need to think about and reflect on right now in this moment in time. In full transparency, I've struggled with the same thing, and then I hope it resonates with y'all. And here it is. Don't be a sheep. That's right. Don't be a sheep. As you know, Megan and I are Christians, and it's not something we talk about often on this podcast. And no, I won't be preaching to you today, but there is an important part of the Bible, and it's in Matthew 9:36. And in this passage, Jesus is on a boat, and he comes up to the shore, and he's looking over a crowd, and it reads like this. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them, because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. And that verse has really weighed heavy on me recently, and I don't know, again, what your beliefs are, but as I look around the world today, I think many of us are acting like sheep. We're looking for someone to lead us. We're happy to just be followers of other people. Heck, just look at social media. How many followers do we have, or how many people are we following? It's a big thing in popular culture. But whether it's in the context of political parties, which has been right in the forefront recently. So if you're a Republican or Democrat, or if you're wanting to fit in with your friend group maybe, or wanting to keep up with whatever everyone else seems to be doing, somewhere along the way, it seems like we've lost our ability to think for ourselves. Now, you don't have to look far to see the hate being spewed back and forth with this current political race we're in. Legit, y'all, I'm seeing complete strangers screaming at each other or messaging back and forth, fighting in the street or messaging back and forth on Facebook over just simply not agreeing on everything. And I know for me, it's really affected me to see people that I love just disagreeing, or people that I love just following a narrative without actually using their own thoughts. And a lot of us are doing it, I believe, just to fit in. So, have you ever felt this way? Like life seems fine, but then it seems like you're being pulled in one direction or another. All of a sudden, maybe everyone is telling you what you want, or they're telling you what you need, or they're telling you what you should or shouldn't believe. You could think of it as a big issue like a political party or religion. You could think of it as another issue of just like a restaurant you like. Think about how many opinions that you take in throughout the day and how much feedback you take in and have to cycle through in your brain on any given moment. And sometimes it's legit like we're being herded like sheep. And I'm not going to get political, but this political race has really put this in perspective for me. It seems like there's such blind hate for either side of the fence based on what other people are saying, what the media is saying, or just what your friends or family are saying. And a lot of us will either speak up or we'll keep our mouth shut simply to fit in and to be well within the fold. And with this, we get in that follower mindset. Like we're not striving to be a leader. And if we're being honest, many of us are okay just to be those followers. Because being a follower really isn't so bad. And really, I'm not suggesting that you wouldn't listen or take anyone else's advice when I'm saying this. So I do want to preface it with that. But what I'm cautioning against is being that blind follower or taking everything that someone or some group is saying as fact without doing any research on your own. I think about too, like being in the midst of just this time of the year. Like we're in the midst of this holiday season, and man, do these marketers have us pegged at this time of year. I was just looking up gifts for my kids the other day, and they told me these are the hot toys that are going to be, big this year. And I was like, how do they know what my kid is going to like? Is my kid just like every other kid? But watch TV, y'all. I mean, they're telling us every day what we should want or what we should need or what we should strive for or what a perfect life looks like or what the American dream looks like. Fill in the blank, but someone's telling you something. Take this pill to lose weight. Buy this product and you'll be happy. Do this thing and you'll have whatever you need. And you might be perfectly happy a lot of the times. I know I am, like in your own car. But man, you see that car on a commercial and all of a sudden you want it. Or maybe you want that new iPhone. Man, that iPhone 12's coming out. That looks great. I think I need that. Or maybe you're a watch or jewelry, whatever it is. I mean, I was watching football the other day, and I'm telling you, I had trouble finding a commercial that wasn't using sex or the idea of sex to sell something. So basically, what I've learned, if you want a hot chick, all you need to do is buy this car or wear this cologne or eat this hamburger. But the issue with all of these things is we're just being led like sheep. And we're acting like sheep. We're getting comfortable with not having to come up with our own ideas. We're following popular culture. We're following thought leaders. We're following influencers. We're following whoever else and letting them tell us what we want or what we need. But where do we get our beliefs in this? Why are you doing the things you're doing? Why are you buying the things you're buying? Why are you fighting for the things you're fighting for? These are all big questions that you need to be asking yourself. And when I reflect, I think am I pulling it from my beliefs as a Christian? Am I pulling it from beliefs of a certain politician? Am I pulling them from my friend group and what they're saying? Am I pulling them from different influencers I follow online? Or a lot of things I'm simply going off of what my parents believed and what they taught me and the values they instilled in me. But you have to figure out, why are you doing the certain things you're doing? And maybe that means potentially changing the way you're doing things based on those results. The issue with all of this, y'all, is we all want to fit in. We all want to be loved. We all want to be accepted. But the question you got to ask yourself is, what are you giving up to allow that to happen? Are you changing your beliefs? Are you saying you believe a certain thing when you don't? Are you buying certain things or doing certain things just to allow someone else to like you or someone else to love you? Because that's a dangerous precedent to set. If you're changing who you are for someone else to love you or like your social media account, you're going the wrong way. And trust me, I've been guilty of it myself. I think about throughout my life, I've done a lot of things just to fit in. But then you got to ask yourself, are you giving up your identity just to fit in? Are you changing what you believe or holding back maybe on what you believe to fit in with your friend group or to get those likes on social media? And the idea of fitting in always takes me back for some reason to middle school. We all remember middle school, right? I would have done anything in middle school to fit in. I would have picked on other kids to fit in. And I'm being honest, I did. I played certain sports just to fit in. I had to wear a certain brand of clothes or listen to a certain music type. American Eagle or Aeropostale, by the way. But not only that, I'd avoid talking about certain things. Like there were certain things I liked, but because I knew my friends didn't like that and I didn't want to be made fun of, I wouldn't even talk about it. Like that part of my identity didn't even exist. And I'll give you a really simple example. I have always liked musicals. You can laugh at me if you want. I'm okay with it. I'm 36 now. I'm perfectly good with that. But I've always loved musicals. I have. I've always just been enthralled with the whole production value and all it takes to put together. But I never shared that with my friends back in school for fear of being judged. Because peer pressure sucks. Peer pressure is the worst. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm not in middle school anymore. Like I said, I'm 36 years old. And I would argue that peer pressure now is almost worse in current time than it was back then. Because in this social media age, you can't get away from it. With everyone being able to have an opinion and with everyone being all over the globe able to speak directly to you, the peer pressure is stronger than ever now. And saying the right thing and doing the right thing in the cancel culture we're living in is even more apparent. But you guys, you can't just do something because that's what everyone else is doing. We have to learn to think for ourselves. You have to learn to think for yourself, which means asking some of these questions that I've already talked about. But not just asking them, actually meditating on them, thinking about them, just holding on to them for a minute. Because I think if we all were honest with ourselves, and I know I am too, I count myself in this group, I've done this. I've posted certain things to be liked. I haven't said a lot of certain things to be liked. I've done a lot of things to just keep up this facade. It hurts when I do that because it's going against who I truly am, and I'm not sharing my true self. And I don't want you guys to be in a place where you're not sharing your true self. In our episode last week, we talked about screwing the picture perfect life. And honestly, I was like, that's probably not a good title because I don't know if people will click on it because it says screw. But you know what? I want to get people's attention because you know what? Screw the perfect life. That's what I told Megan because that's all I thought about. Screw that. Because many of us out there are going into debt because we want this perfect life. Maybe we're giving up on a relationship because the grass is always greener and we want something else. And everything tells us that maybe if I had this or maybe if I had that, it'd be better. Or something else because we're trying to just be perfect and trying to do what our friends or family, celebrity, or people we know and follow are doing. And the older I get, the more I realize how ridiculous that idea is and how ridiculous this peer pressure is. Y'all, the goal is not, and I want you to hear this, the goal is not to be like everyone else. We are all our own unique person with our own unique gifts. Think about that for a minute. Because what sense does it make to try to be exactly like someone else or have exactly what someone else has or be exactly like someone else is? If we're all unique, why are we all trying to be the same? And it goes beyond just like trying to be the same as like trying to be in popular culture. We'll all get into a group because we want to like be part of a tribe or be part of a group so we're all the same. But then like when the beliefs go outside of our beliefs, we just follow blindly because we don't want to be ostracized or we don't want to have that peer pressure come in or we don't want to be judged. And so we don't live into our full potential self because we want to fit in and keep everyone believing that we believe exactly what they believe. But if you want to make your own impact on this world, you can't just be a follower like a helpless sheep. You have to open your mind to new ideas and new possibilities. And you need to challenge what people are saying or doing. And no, that doesn't mean getting in an argument on social media. It doesn't mean like fighting someone else because they don't believe what you believe. You don't have to completely agree with what the other person is saying, honestly, to be able to talk to them. And a lot of us are like, if we don't agree completely with what someone's saying, then we just push them aside and we say, well, they don't know anything about any topic because they don't agree on this thing. And so if they don't agree on this thing, then they're this, and this. And we immediately put them in a box because that's what we do as people. We put everyone in a box. And I've seen this new trend, honestly, going around on social media. And I think the political thing has made it even more prevalent. But it's like, if you don't believe in this, if you don't think this, if you don't do that, just unfollow me. Like someone will just post this thing and they'll be like, if you don't agree with this thing that I took from someone else, but I'm resharing here, if you don't believe in that, then just unfollow me. Unfollow me. If you voted for whoever, you know what? Unfollow me. If you did this, you did that, unfollow me. I don't want to be friends with you anymore. Y'all, I mean, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? So just to be clear in these situations, because I'm sure y'all have seen this, and maybe some of y'all have said it, and I'm not judging. I want to point it out because I think it's a big problem. But if that's true, if someone doesn't agree completely with you, or if they did this or they did that, and you want them to unfollow you, you do not want to be friends or associated with them. So let me get this straight. So you can only talk to the people who look, think, or believe exactly what you believe. And that's got to be true if you want them to unfollow you, because if they don't believe exactly what you believe, you don't want to associate with them. And my goodness, y'all, this cannot be the attitude that we go out into the world with. This is not the attitude I want my kids to go out in the world with and what I want to instill in them. And I certainly wouldn't want those beliefs to be how you're going out into the world. I'm going to be real with y'all. The people I've learned the most from in life have looked completely different than me, had come from completely different backgrounds. They had their own unique perspective, and they looked at the world different. And because they looked at the world different, and because they were brought up in a different environment than me, they could see things and give different perspectives on life and open my eyes to things that I had never seen because I was living in a privileged life, or I was living just in a small town life and they were a city person. I don't know what it was, but the fact is, you never know what you can get from someone else. But if we start blocking everyone out based on this idea, that's a big problem. It's okay to talk to someone else, to be around someone else if they don't believe exactly what you believe. Honestly, that's what we should be striving for. Different perspectives or beliefs should not push us further apart, but they should allow us to be brought closer together because we're opening up more dialogue for more knowledge and understanding. So I hope for today that you'll think long and hard about these questions I pose to you. I know for me, I'll continue to do so. But I encourage you to stop trying to do things or believe things or say things just to fit in. And the honest truth is you'll probably lose people along the way. That's just the nature of life. Maybe some people you can't get along with, and maybe they don't agree with what you're saying because you're going to be open in ways that you've never been open before, and you start sharing things about yourself that you've never shared before, and maybe they won't agree with that, and maybe they won't stay around for that, but that's not everyone, one. And two, if that's what's happening, then maybe they're just not your people. If someone isn't going to like you for you being your true self, then you should really have no time for them. I know it's harsh, but I'm not saying you have to push people completely out of your lives, but why are we spending time with someone who we can't be our true self around, that we have to be uncomfortable around? Why would we want to bother with that? Y'all, don't allow the beliefs of whatever political party you follow, whatever friend group you're in, whatever family you're in, or the marketers around shape how you see the world. You're your own unique person, and always remember that. That's what makes you you. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. He says, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." Be true to you, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Hey B, what did you think of that episode?
I think it was pretty dang good.
Well, what should someone do if they enjoyed these last 30 minutes?
They should probably head over and leave us a review so we can reach more people.
They definitely should.
Guys, if you like the Fools in Love podcast, please go follow us over on Instagram at Fools in Love Podcast.
We'd love to connect with you and learn more about what you'd like to hear.